In problem number 3, we have David and Amrita with an equal number of marbles. And Amrita gives 50 marbles to David, and then he has 5 times as many marbles as her. So once again, at the very end, we have that David has 5 times as many marbles as Amrita. So we let these little squares all represent the same amount, so that whatever that square is, David has 5 to whatever Amrita has. But remember that at the beginning they both had the same amount. And so what that really means is that originally they both had 3 squares worth. And Amrita gave 2 of her squares worth to David, and now David has 5 squares to Amrita's 1 square. Then we can ask, well, what did Amrita give David? Well, Amrita gave David 50 marbles. So this means that 2 squares are worth 50 marbles. Well, if 2 squares are worth 50 marbles, there's another 50 marbles. And finally, a third group of 50 marbles. How many total marbles did they have altogether? They had 150 marbles. And so you can see this is a lot simpler than using an algebraic method. We start with their ending point, which is David with 5 times as many as Amrita, but originally they had the same amount, which means that 2 of those squares is what Amrita gave to David, and since 2 of those squares represent 50 marbles, every 2 squares has to represent 50 marbles, and therefore there were 3 times 50 or 150 marbles to begin with. Once again, to set it up algebraically, if the 2 start off with the same number of marbles, and we call that M, and then Amrita gives away 50 marbles to David, so we subtract 50 from her and add 50 to David. At this point, David has 5 times as many as Amrita. Again, we don't multiply David's by 5. David already has more. How many more? He has 5 times what Amrita has. So we multiply Amrita's by 5, and now we have an equation. David's is equal to 5 times Amrita's. We carry out the distribution. I'm going to subtract M from both sides and add 250 to both sides. After subtracting M, I get 50 is equal to 4M minus 250. Now I'm going to add the 250 to both sides, and I get that 4M is equal to 300. But this is not the answer. Again, what I really wanted was I started with both of them having M marbles. So if anything, I want to have 2M. So I could divide both sides by 4 and get 75, and then multiply that by 2 to get 150, or just divide both sides by 2. So I get 2M is equal to 150. Now you have to keep that straight. What we're looking for here is not M and it's not 4M. What we're really looking for is 2M, because they both had M. We're going to add those together, and 2M's is equal to 150.